is up everyone? So in this video I am going to talk a little bit more about the COC builds, how it fares for people, beginners that are playing Cyclone COC for like the first time, what you need to know. What can be improved, because I'm not going to do that anytime soon. I will do it but not anytime soon, as the prices this late are just rocket high expensive. Okay, and now I'll talk about like the different belts that you can or should use, like Headhunter or Mage belt, and then like last and not forgotten, what would I have changed or amend if there is another given chance, probably next week or something. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so first up, this variant of the COC, the block version, how does it fare? There will be three portions to it. Okay, so first is T16s. T16s, it's pretty smooth. I'm pretty sure like all of you have. For those of you that have played this build for a while, you know this build is super tanky. It is very hard to die, unless you take a lot of global buffs and reductions and stuff like that makes the map very rippy. Otherwise, it is pretty good. Okay. The only problem that I realize in these maps is that if you take too much what do you call that, defensive modifiers on the map monsters, it starts to get a little bit hard to run because the monsters are so tanky. So for example, there is 60%, I think it's 60% chance to spell suppress the monsters on the map. Okay, then they have like 50% extra energy shield, take less critical strike damage. That one is, I would say, a no-go. Okay, how about let me just pull out my PoE regex. Okay, so I'll show you here. I'm gonna reset it. So what I would suggest you avoid, right, in maps, first of all, is of course you can't do any damage, right? I mean, if you want, you can. You basically need to take the elementary mastery of reduce reflect damage, and then you just take Soul of Yugo on your Pantheon. Okay. And next is this. Okay. This one is definitely, I would say, is definitely a no-go for like all the maps. Negative resistance. Okay. This one is, I would say, it's kind of like 50-50. Why? First of all, is because you are relying a lot of ES recovery from your block, right? So every time you block, you're actually going to get more ES than you actually regen. So this one is kind of like 50-50. If you have too many mods, then you can remove this. Right, next is hexproof. Okay, hexproof is also not actually mandatory. I would say it's like 50-50, so it's still okay. Reduced curse, this is definitely no. Okay, this is definitely no. Let me just put like this first. Okay, hexproof. I'm scrolling down. Poison or hit doesn't matter. Here, monsters gain maximum life as extra maximum energy shield, especially when you are doing strategies that have a lot of increased map effect modifier. Some, like, especially now during this league, I think most of your map atlas is like including, you want to try and maximize the pack size, you want to maximize the loot, and that's why you took a lot of the increased effect modifiers, right? It can go up until like what, 80% or something like that, and this is going to bump up by 80%, which means all of the monsters are going to have like 80 to 90% extra energy shield as maximum life. This is like almost double their life. Okay, so I would remove this. Next will be this. Okay, elemental resistance, I would remove this also. Monsters have chance to suppress spell damage. If you are going full bonkers on your map strats with the effect modifier, this is going to be 100% spell suppress. This one is, I don't know, I tried some map to actually remove this particular reduced chance to block, and it seems fine. Yeah, it seems fine. Okay, because if you're killing them fast enough, they won't actually hit you too fast that you will die. So it's still okay. Next is this. Okay, next is this. So reduce extra damage from critical strike. And of course, no cooldown recovery rate. And if possible, I will remove this as well. So you can see it is... oh, it's just nice. Wow. Yeah. So it's basically just all of this. Okay, all of this I would remove in every one of my map. Yeah. Because they are going to hinder the speed and process to how fast you can clear per map. Okay, so yeah, do take note of this. I'm gonna put this aside, right? Next, T17s. Now T17s, we all know by now, by probably T17s is like the best place to farm in this league, right? It's like if you are not farming T17s, you are basically getting 50% lesser profit than anybody else that is farming T17s, right? Just because back to basics is just super stupid good, right? So yes, ultimately the best is if you can farm T17. Unfortunately, if you were to follow exactly to how my high budget COC works, I would say you have to roll a lot of times to get a decent T17 map to run. Okay, it is tanky, but I'm afraid it is not extremely tanky to the point where you can just sit there, spin, and hope everything die. Right, eventually the monsters get very, very strong, they stack a lot of damage, and it becomes very, very dangerous. It is not doable, it is actually quite doable, but you gotta be careful of the map mods for T17s, right? There's a lot of modifiers that are very dangerous. Really, a lot of them I can't really list down for you because it's just too many. You just gotta have some sense and logic when you actually see it. Okay, bossing. This build does quite fantastic in bossing, I would say. Right. Then again, same. You gotta be careful of their skills. The most dangerous thing when you're actually doing bossing is basically those degen grounds. Alright. Ground effects or damage over time effects that actually affect you. Yes, poison, you can completely ignore poison and chaos damage over time, but there are some of the degen grounds, like what do you call that? Cyrus has a degen ground. Shaper degen grounds, something like that, like vortex on the floor that deals damage over time. These are actually very dangerous to our build right here. Okay, so that's really all you have to be careful, right? Otherwise, like stuff like Cyrus die beam, you can pretty much stand there and you won't die. Alright, if you know what I mean. Right. Okay, so this is done. Secondly, this is to emphasize to those people or players, new players, who are playing Cyclone COC for the first time, okay? And you are clueless about anything. Like, wow, you just see this build so fanciful, so many stuff, so cool, I want to try. You go in and like, holy shit, this is complicated as hell. Okay, so what you need to know as a new player, playing Cyclone COC is, number one, the most important thing is you need to scale your attack speed with your cooldown recovery. Okay, I'm gonna bring out my notepad for a little bit. Cool attack speed versus cooldown recovery. Okay, so I've talked this a lot of times, okay, but I'm gonna repeat it one more time. So if you have 0% cooldown recovery, okay, the optimal rate you will need is basically equals to 6.06. Yes, 6.06 attack speed. Okay, so which means you just need to have 6 attack speed. Full stop. Okay, what does this means? It means, right, every second you are going to trigger 6 of the spells that you equip. So let's say Ice Nova, every 1 second of you spinning the cyclone, you are going to unleash or activate 6 Ice Nova. Okay, You cannot go below 6 because if you go below 6, let's say if your attack speed maybe is 5.56, something like that, okay? This means, right, every 1 second you're going to trigger 5 Ice Nova on it instead of 6. Okay, I hope that makes sense, right? So if your attack speed, okay, let me change. If your attack speed is like 6.56, something like that, okay? If it's 6.56, you are also going to trigger probably about 5 Ice Nova, or maybe even less. I don't really know exactly the maths, but why is this so, right? It's very simple. Okay, maybe I'll just write out. If attack speed is 5.5, okay, you are going to trigger 5 Ice Nova, right? Because literally is, this is what it is. This is your attack speed. And then if attack speed is, yep, trigger 5 or less Ice Nova, okay? The reason, right, is very simple. Because Ice Nova has not cooldown finished yet. You are attempting to trigger the Ice Nova when it has not cooldown, right? So that's why you are going to trigger way lesser than lower attack speed. Like I think it actually triggers less than 5, honestly, like about 4 or even 3. Can you imagine every time you attempt to trigger with Cast on Crit Ice Nova, your Ice Nova has not cooldown finished by the millisecond, and it kind of like skips one phase of triggering. So every 2 phases of attempting to trigger, you only unleash 1 Ice Nova. That's what it means over here, okay? Your Ice Nova is not cooldown finished, but you want to try and activate it. Not possible. That's why you should never ever go above the cooldown recovery, the intended attack speed versus what your cooldown recovery has, okay? So next is there are different tiers of cooldown recovery versus the attack speed, okay? That's why this build scales a lot with cooldown recovery, because it allows you to unleash more counts of your spell. So like I said, the first one is 0%, right? 0% is 6.06. The next trigger point is 14% CDR, okay? We always call it CDR, cooldown recovery rate. Yeah, okay, right, cooldown recovery rate. The 14%, the trigger point is, the threshold is 7.57 attack speed per second. Okay, so then again, the next question I think a lot of you are gonna ask me is basically, okay, I'm gonna put here 7 attack speed. Okay, wait, why is it so weird? Why is it 97? Okay, the next question I probably can foresee you guys asking me is, what if my attack speed is 7.1? What happens if my attack speed is 7.2? I'm gonna tell you it's fine. It is fine, okay? If your APS is 7.14 or 7.36, whichever, okay? It is okay. As long as you are sitting between 7 to 7.57, just do not go above 7.57, okay? I've actually tried before what happens if you go by the mini decimal place. Apparently my damage in game, I realized I am dealing way lesser damage because I went to a boss fight. I can't remember which boss is it. I think it was a white Minotaur map or something. I tried within 7.5 and 7.6, and my damage, the time that I take to kill Minotaur, I can't, I don't think it was Minotaur, sorry. I know it's just a standing still boss, right? It took me longer to kill if it goes above 7.57 APS, right? Which means, right, that mini decimal point, as long as you go above it, you are going to tamper with the cooldown recovery, the attempt to actually trigger the 7 Ice Nova, or the attempt to actually trigger another Ice Nova when it has not cooldown, right? So I didn't know it was like that scrutinized and screwed down until that single decimal point, but at least now I know it. So whatever it is, do not go beyond the intended attack speed. Okay, Next will be 52% CDR. Oops, sorry. When you are at 52% CDR, the threshold is 10.10 APS, which means you want to have 10 attack speed. Okay, this is where it starts to get a little bit difficult because you need to have between 10 and 10.1. Okay, strictly within this range, right? If you, let's say, if your okay, maybe if your APS is 9.89, for example, okay, you trigger 9 times. Full stop. That's all. Okay. If you go above, if your APS is 10.12, for example, you trigger less than 10 times. Simple as that. Less, which means you can trigger like 8, 9, 7. Yeah, so at high budget, we are always using 52% cooldown recovery rate, and this is the bare minimum you need to fix your build with. Okay, is there a fourth tier of cooldown recovery rate? Yes, it exists in the game. Okay, but it is not possible anymore. It is not possible anymore. I can't remember what exactly is the cooldown recovery rate, but I know it is like double of this. I think 104%, or was it 110%? Okay, I seriously can't remember, but all I know is it's not possible to reach now, right? It is totally not possible because even with the Forbidden Flame and Flash, it is not possible because even if you add a lot of items, maybe it might be possible. Okay, maybe, because let's say if let me just do a simple math. Okay, Awaken COC 6, it's gonna give you 57 CDR, or was it 54? Damn it, I can't remember. Okay, whatever, let's just put there first. 54% CDR. Threshold. And what is next? Elevated boots, right? Elevated boots is going to give you 20% CDR. Belt is going to give you, I think you can get 20% CDR as well. Okay, what else is there? Like clockwork. I think it's clockwork, right? It's 30% CDR. Like, yes, you can do all of this. Alright, you can hit the next threshold, and then you need to hit the next tier of attack per second. This one I can't remember what's the fourth tier, but what I do, wait, I think it's 114%. I really can't remember, but what I know is it's not worth it at all. Okay, it's not worth it to try and go so far because you are just going to improve like maybe another 3 or 4 more trigger rates only. Okay, which also means you're going to use more mana, and if your mana is not 0, which also means you're going to trigger all your entire skills from top to bottom, which means more mana. Okay, and all of this CDR, right, is essentially what I would call like redundant add-ons to the build, whereas you can just scale more quick multiplier to it. The reason every one of, or I would say most players always only use this is because it is easy to reach. All you need is Awaken COC 6 and the elevated boots. That's all you need. Or even if you don't have Awaken COC 6, it's just Awaken COC 5, elevated boots, and maybe the most one Abyss Jewel with 3% CDR. You can hit it very easily. That's why nobody always goes for the 4th tier, because you require way too much item, whereas all these item, right, you can always find it somewhere else. Okay, sorry, this is not, yeah, it's actually 30%, my bad. Yeah, so I know it's somewhere around there, but let's just not go into there. Okay, all right, I'm going to leave this here, but I'm going to continue talking. Okay, so the next most important factor is mana problem. Okay, you need to make sure you have enough mana to cast your skill. Like, I have players coming to ask me, everything seems perfect in PoB. I have higher damage than you. I am speeding in mats, but why does it seem like I have a hard time killing bosses, killing rares? And I was like, yo, show me your, can you like share your gameplay video with me or share screen with me so that I can see? I literally realized that guy has like 50 mana. 50 mana, and he did not take the mana cost reduction notes, and so basically his Frostbolt require like 20 mana per cast. Ice Nova require 20 mana per cast. Like, dude, this two alone is like 40 mana. Your mana pool is 50. You can only trigger it like once or twice every second. That's all. Not even 10. Like, literally, your build is worse than a low budget build. So that's why I say it's very important that you follow my POV, because it is all done nicely already if you are not familiar with the build. Okay, so mana problem is really, really important. Next is accuracy and 100% crit. Okay, I'm gonna bring up my own POB. So you can always go to POB, go to your calculations, or of course you want to look at Cyclone because it is an attack skill. Spells don't scale with accuracy, only attack. Okay, so that's why for Cyclone we need to have our accuracy at 100%. Where the heck is it? Okay, it's here. Okay, can you see my mouse here? So accuracy is 100%. You need to have it at 100%. I will say it's about 3,000 accuracy, around there. Okay, around there. And yeah, this accuracy is actually pretty important, because if you do not have 100% accuracy, let's say if you have 90% accuracy, imagine every 10 times you are trying to hit, you are only hitting like 9 times. One of the times you will miss, which means you'll miss one trigger rate, one trigger times, and which also means you are kind of like screwing up with the amount of times you can unleash Ice Nova, okay, or even the times it can cool down. So it affects the trigger rate. You always need to have 100% on this. Alright. Next is 100% crit. Why do you need 100% crit? Guys, this is very, very, very important. Right? Our build is all about crit. If you do not have 100% crit, let's say you have 95% chance, fine, go ahead with it. But which means you are losing 5% flat up damage. Can you imagine? Okay, let's say during high budget build, right? Every 1 second you are triggering 10 times, which means every 10 seconds you're going to trigger 100 times. In this 100 second, on average, you are going to miss 5 times, which means you're going to miss 5% flat damage from it. That is a lot. If you are dealing 20 million damage, 5% is... Damn it, my maths is failing me. 10% is like 200,000, right? So yeah, you're losing like 100,000 DPS. Okay, that doesn't seem a lot. But when you are scaling your character more and more, it starts to become a problem, because every time you're not critting, you are basically not triggering Ice Nova. Okay, so that's why 100% crit is very important. The next one and the last one is for beginner players. Like, guys, you don't just see the full DPS here. Okay, damage is not everything. Like I say again, you can have 50 mana and what is that? Let's say, okay, let me just put here. So example, you see my Ice Nova is 0 mana cost, right? If you have very intensive mana cost on your Ice Nova, but you have not enough mana to cast, the DPS here doesn't mean anything. It's literally like trash, garbage DPS. So DPS is not about everything. You need to cap your resistance. Technically, this is not a very healthy resistance, okay? To be honest with you. Why? When you are doing Searing Exarch or Ether World Altar, you slowly start to like take those global buffs, whereby they reduce your resistance, right? And they do not reduce maximum resistance, they reduce normal resistance. So even though you see I'm overcapped by like 28% fire resistance, usually they will minus like 45, 50 fire resistance, and then you will start to go down like about 50% resistance. That's why if possible, I will always try to overcap this by like 40, 50 if possible. Okay, so it becomes safer, it becomes very safe. And then you need to take note of your energy shield and your armor as well. Like this build, we scale with armor because of Aegis, alright? That's what makes this build very tanky. Energy shield, I would really prefer to have above 4000 at least. Right? Because even though we are tanky, there will be some monsters that just horrendously crit you and one shot you for no particular reason whatsoever. I've had that situation like this league. I think it was in T17s. The mod wasn't very crazy, but something just slapped me really hard. I didn't even have time to recover. I just got one shotted. Like I went like, how? How is that even possible? The only thing I can think of is I did not block it. It crit me, and it had like a few extra damage on, like extra physical damage as fire damage, extra physical damage as cold or lightning, and increased damage, monster damage, increased LXP, blah blah blah, something like that, and it just slapped me and I die. Okay, so yes, damage is not everything. Just don't because you see another person POB that have, whoa, 40 million damage, I should follow this build. No, please. If that guy has shit defenses, it is still shit. Okay. Okay, next up is also again for players that are new or something, or not a veteran in PoE. Guys, you should not change anything if you do not understand how the build works. Don't be a genius and just change it according to what you like. Okay, I really have, I'm sorry to say, but I have so many players that come to me and ask for help, but I can accept those that, you know, maybe you change the items and then, or you miss out one or two items or modifiers. I can accept some of those, but not completely change item. Because, you know, maybe because it's a very complicated thing, right, in PoB. So sometimes we might overlook or miss them out. Like maybe you miss out one line of 7% attack speed. That's why you cannot find like where is the attack speed. That one I can completely understand. Okay, if it's just one mod or whatever, I can understand. Like I have to go into the PoB and try to figure it out for you because I know how it works, right? Like at the tip of my mind. So it is fine. But guys, I have spent hours just to try and make the PoB easier for beginners, okay? By not following it and improving it on your own, I presume you are a veteran in the game. You know what you are doing. You know like how to improve the build. You know like the CDR versus attack speed stuff, okay? And if you come with me with another person's PoB, right, or another build, and then you ask me what's the problem, how do I fix or how do I change it, like seriously, I'll just tell you to go away. Like, why are you asking me instead of asking from the person that you took from? Okay, I am not going to help you there, and I'm going to completely ignore you, for real. And then if you actually change the items yourself, like completely change the items, and you have problems, I'm going to ask you why. Why do you change the item first? If you cannot answer that, I am also going to ignore you. Okay? Because you don't understand what's the real purpose of changing the item, what's the real purpose of me using every single particular item, which I explained in the video build guide itself, and you are just trying to attempt to change it because, I don't know, you saw something else that looks very appealing, that looks very attractive to you, like, whoa, this item has like shit tons of damage on it, like this ring has cold damage, has crit multiplier, has ES, has more critical strike chance, for example, and stuff like that, and you just see, wow, this thing is one mirror ring or whichever, okay, and then you just slap on it. Yes, it gives you shit tons of damage, but you're not actually performing up to the build requirements. And if you're not performing up to the build requirements, literally that ring is as good as a one chaos ring, because it is not working as intended. So stuff like that, I would really highly advise you guys to please just follow. Okay? I will talk about what can be improved next. So whatever it is, please try not to change anything if you are not familiar with this build. Just play what I show you first. As you play more, as you discover more, as you research more, you will understand much better. Next, I think everyone wants to know this. What can the build improve? Right? So here we go. Again, I'm gonna bring up my notepad. I don't think you guys need this already, so I'm gonna delete it. You can just pause the video previously. So, what can be improved? Simple. Number one. Should I just put number one? Fine, number one. Awaken COC gem. This is by far like the easiest shit you can improve in it. The reason why I did not include because it is just so ridiculously expensive this league. It doesn't make sense, and that's why I use like clockwork. Okay. Temporary solution was forbidden. Okay, I don't have space. Let me just put bottom. Flash, flame, like clock. Oh my god. Okay, I don't have space. Why? Should I make it smaller? 1 second. Let me make it smaller. Okay. Yeah. Here. Like, oh my god, like clockwork. Okay, so the temporary solution was actually to use forbidden flame and flash like clockwork. It costs like 2 diff, that's all. You get 30% CDR. Boom, the build works. Simple. Okay, so if you actually purchase Awaken COC gem, you have 2 more jewel sockets, right? And if you have 2 more jewel sockets, basically you can add 2x x2 base jewel with triple crit multiplier. Yep, this is gonna bump up your damage by a lot. Really a lot. Let me show you. So here I am using cast on crit, right? Let me change to Awaken COC at level 5. Okay, so if I have this, oh my god, oh my god. 1 second. Why is it lagging so badly? Hello? What? Okay, Ice Nova, I am sorry. Let me just change this. Please stop changing. Okay, and then I am going to remove Forbidden Flame, Forbidden Flash. What I'm gonna do is I am going to show you the jewel. Okay. You can get any jewel, but as long as there's 3 crit multiplier. So yeah, I'm just going to, oh my god, multiplier. So one is like with core skill. Okay, the other one is you have global as well. Okay, and you have either spell damage or elemental skill. It works as well. Okay, so if you want to find triple, this is how you find. It is much easier. Either of them works. I'm just going to temporarily add this. Okay, look, our damage is this is level what, 95? Okay, this is level 95. At level 95, it is 14.5 million. Watch what happens when I put 1 jewel. Okay, one, just one. This is 2. 17 million. Just 2 base jewel with triple crit multiplier. It bumps up by a lot. Like really a lot. From 14.5 million to 17 million. I would say that's like almost 20 to 30% increase. That's a lot. That's really a lot. Okay. I just do not know why Awaken COC is like, I don't know. The price is just very unethical on this league. Okay, don't ask me why. Streamers, content creators are promoting it, and currently like we are the victim of it. Okay, and next one is I'm dying out of breath. Okay, next one is corrupt items. Okay, what can you corrupt? First is your cosplay. Oh my god, I spelled it wrongly. Cosplay. There are a few of them. Okay, there are a few of them. So the first one is you can corrupt it to have either 7% increased attack speed, or you can have damage penetration. Okay, If you go for the 7% increased attack speed, please change your rings or whatever. Okay, actually, to make it simpler for you guys, right, just do this. Okay, just buy a damage penetration cost free. Yeah. Okay. The another one is also a cost free, right? But this one is very very expensive. You can purchase one with 40% reduced attribute cost free. Okay, it does exist on the market, but it is quite rare. Let me see if I can. Yeah, let me see if I can show you guys cost free Malays, and then reduce attribute. Oh my god, is it not here? No. Reduce here. It is an enchantment. Okay, increase attribute requirement. No, let me just find first. Oh wait, I can't find. What is going on? I know it is an enchantment. Okay, maybe you know what? Oops, sorry. Maybe I just find cosplay, and I'll just do this. 2 Mirror of Kalandra, blah blah blah. Okay, you know what? I'll find it and then I'll get back to you guys later. But I know it exists. Okay, you basically need to have the highest enchantment. There might not even be one on the market now because of how bad or the retention is currently. Yeah, but I know it does exist. Okay, it definitely does exist. So, oops. Yep, let's go back to this. There's a 40% reduced attribute cost speed. I'll get back to you on this after this section on what can be improved. Right. Next will be your Aegis Aurora. Okay, you can have a corrupted one with 5% spell block. Okay, by doing this, right, you can remove one of the block nodes. Okay, so let me show you. Yeah, I'm gonna show you guys every one of it now. Okay, right on the spot. So let's say if you get a corrupted 5% chance to block spell damage. Corrupt, please. Okay, so like that, right? Okay, I am going to corrupt it, and what you can do, right? You see these nodes over here, this arcane guarding. What you can do is you can basically take this. Okay, you have this increased block recovery, and you can remove these two nodes. Simple. What you actually achieve here is you basically save one skill point, and you actually have more ES, and you have more block recovery, of course. So this is quite a good addition, but just take note, this particular shield might be quite expensive. So you can either Elva it yourself, or I don't know, just buy it off a market if there is any. Okay, next is Incandescent Heart. Right, what you want to go here is +1 to all socketed gem. Either increase damage or +2 AoE. Okay, so Incandescent Heart is here. I'm gonna crop it. First one is here. You can see this increased damage, right? So increased damage is okay. Next one, you can go for +1 maximum resistance as well, or you can go for a +2 AoE gem. Okay, +2 AoE gem, which means your Ice Nova will be way stronger, right? The other one is you can go for a here +1 socket gem. Okay, this is actually quite decent as well. Or you can just take this 50% reduced extra damage from critical strike. Any of this is just an improvement. Let's say if you go for 40 or 50% increased damage, you are going to have quite a nice amount of damage bump up. 2 million right here. See? So it's actually really not bad. Like, it is not flat 40-50% damage. It's an initial increase in damage for Ice Nova. So it's only 2 million, but yeah, it is better than nothing. So let's say if I were to go for +2 AoE here, you can see it's going to bump up even more. Instantly, even more. Straight away, you can get like 19.86 million. A lot more. So another one is, why do you go for the +1? Where is +1? Here. Okay. Here. Go for the +1. Yes, you will have a drop in damage, but which means you do not need to buy Awakened COC 6. Okay, because I know how stupid the price of it is right now. This is one alternative you can do for this. Okay, so like the price of Awakened COC 6 is like what, 120 div now? That's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. It's like the price of a mageblood, I think, or even more. I'm really not sure. Okay, it might even be 150 div now. You know what? Let me just check. Let me just check. I'll go PoE Ninja and check. I'm pretty sure it's like one of the most expensive gems right now. Like, doesn't make sense. Oh, it's dropped. It has dropped. Okay, Awakened COC 6 is 115 C. You got it? So it's just ridiculous in my opinion. Okay, so I would just suggest you to get a +1. Right. Back to the POB. No, more like back to this. Okay. So this is what you can get. Next is mageblood or Headhunter. Okay. To equip this, you will need like I say, you need a +1. Need +1 incandescent heart and elevated CDR boots. When you have an elevated cooldown recovery boots, you can hit like 18%, which is all you need to hit their 52% cooldown recovery threshold. Okay, I'll talk more about this later. Forbidden Flame Flash. This is the next upgrade. Okay, what do you want to pick here? I will say the most recommended is Polymath. No questions asked. First of all, increase damage every time you kill. Okay, let me bring out the POB. So this is Polymath right here. Where is it? I know it's under Trickster. Right here. 3% more damage for each different type of mastery you have allocated. Mastery meaning this. Okay, Leech Mastery, Reservation Mastery, Critical Mastery, what else? ES Mastery, this. So currently now we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 3 means it's 21% increase more damage. Okay, not the best, but it is very good also because of the next 3 lines. Recover 1% energy shield on kill for each different type of mastery you are allocated. Okay, recover means like straight away. Okay, there is no regenerate or leech over time. This is almost the same as here. Recover energy shield, on your Aegisara, recover energy shield equal to 2% of armor when you block. It means it is instant. Okay, it is instant. So you have 7 mastery. Each kill is going to give you 7% energy shield or mana. Okay, which also means that if you kill a pack of 10 monsters, you're going to recover 70% of AES instantly. I'm just giving you a rough estimation. That's why I always felt that this is actually really, really powerful. Just that it's a little bit unrated. Like, it's very underrated. Okay, the next one you can go for is Ambush and Assassinate, because it just gives you more damage for against enemies that are low life. Alright, and then there is Calling Strike also, which is really nice. Once you hit below 50%, you're going to deal more damage and the boss is just going to die very fast. Okay, next is, I would suggest Bomb Specialist, which is here. Hits have 20% chance to deal 50% more area damage. Okay, or wait, there is another line, of course, like there's 20% chance to take 50% less area damage from hits, but I wouldn't really count this as a good survivability option because 20% is low. But hits have 20% chance, you are always going to hit it because you are triggering 10 times. Every 10 times, definitely 2 times you are dealing 50% more damage. Right? The next one is this one, Perfect Crime. So triggers level 20 summon trigger bots were allocated. What this does is there will be, if you know what are skitter bots, it's literally like a skitter bot. So these 2 bots will follow behind you and it will actually cast the Ice Nova for you. But the problem with this is the bots are behind you. Okay, the bots are behind you, so you might have to tank a little bit first, which is actually quite viable for here. Before they actually deal like decent or good damage. Okay, so you need to take note of this. There will be a little bit of delay for Perfect Crime. Okay, but it's actually quite decent and good. Next is Soul Drinker. Okay, now I used to fancy this a lot, but as I play more and more, I realize this is not exactly good anymore. Like, it is still quite okay, but it's not the best because first of all, you're just leeching a lot of energy shield. Nowadays, the monster mods are just so extremely strong that either they one-shot you or you manage to get away with it. Okay, this energy leech is not extremely powerful because no matter how much damage you leech, you are still going to cap at 10% of leech or 20% of leech per second. Okay, so what you're actually looking for here, right, is just leech effects are not removed and the 20% increased attack and cast speed while leeching energy shield. Okay, while leeching energy shield. If you are not leeching any energy shield, you basically don't have increased attack and cast speed. But what is nice over here is because of the third line, you are always considered as leeching. So not so bad, but if you use this Soul Drinker, you're gonna remove a lot of attack speed from elsewhere, like your gloves, your rings and stuff like that. So just take note, okay? Yeah, I think this is what you can go for if you want Forbidden Flame and Flash. The last one is actually your Watcher Sight. Now this is probably the best upgrade. Okay, of course you need the hatred, but you need this. Where is it? Here. Okay, what this does, right, is literally it gives you like here. It gives you here minus 5 to minus 10 to total mana cost while affected by clarity. So what you want to do is you want to take this and just find a space to put clarity. You want to put Vault Clarity level 1, fine. Let's go. Okay, it's fine. Just like that, you just need a level 1 clarity, and what you can see, right, is basically all your mana cost is going to reduce by a hell lot more. A lot more. Is it even in effect? Why does it look so weird? 1 second. Where is my... Right. So Frostbite is like this. Let's say if... okay, if I don't have that, where's my... Watcher's Eye? Okay, so I'm gonna remove this, right? You can see the mana per second. It's like... There's a huge difference. Okay? If you don't have that line, if you don't have the Watcher's Eye with clarity, you're gonna need like 80 mana per second for Frostbite or Frostbolt. Okay, Frostbolt is 0. But yeah, if you have that clarity mod, basically you instantly kind of like remove the problem of mana, and it's really very important. Okay. Yeah. So this is like the improvements can be made. Let me go and find out the cosplay with reduced attribute and I'll get back soon. Okay, alright everyone. So currently, right, there is none on the market for the cosplay Malays with the reduced attribute requirement, but just roughly this is how it looks like. Okay, this is how it looks like. Basically you have an enchantment with this why can't I draw it in red? Hello. Here, 40% reduced attribute requirement. It is an enchantment. Okay, don't ask me how to get it. If you see it on the market, just get it. But it is very expensive. Let me just warn you first. This is very expensive. If you actually manage to get your hands on this, there is like so many things you can change on your rings and even like the helmet. Okay, because basically you might look at the cosplay. It only requires 127 dex and 154 in. Okay, it's very crazy, which also means, right, your determination doesn't need 155 strength. Okay, so it reduces a lot of things, which is like so powerful in COC. Your rings can go for like a a full damage ring, right? And it's really, really very good. Okay, I'm gonna quickly wrap this up. So basically, the next one is either the belt. The belt. If you want to change to a Headhunter or Mageblood, which should you choose? The answer for me will be Mageblood for this variant. Okay, why? You want this build to be tanky. You want to continue to bump up the tankiness while going fast and having the damage, because by having a Mageblood, okay, not even using Molten Shell or Ancestral Cry, just having the Mageblood and Flask by itself, you can literally bump the armor of this build from 30k to 50k, which gives you a lot more survivability. Not only that, you have permanent onslaught, you have permanent crit, 100% crit, you have extremely high armor as well. You don't have to bother about prolonged fights in bosses, like if the boss is so tanky or you do a mistake and 4 boss spawn in the invitation, something like that, you do not have to worry about it, because it's just so good for this build when you are stacking so much armor. Okay, so Mageblood is the ideal belt for this build. Next is the last thing I want to talk about is what would I have changed, right, if I am given another chance, or if I'm gonna do this build again. The first thing that came straight to my mind was to play an Occultist instead of an Assassin. Okay, the reason is very simple. Assassin lacks the damage that is required for this version of this build. Like, how would I put it? It has a very, I wouldn't say a low damage ceiling, but the moment you reach the damage ceiling of like 15 million or 20 million, it just kind of like stops there. Okay, whereas Occultist, you start to scale it a lot. You start to scale the build so much that it is uncomparable with Assassin. Okay, the only problem with Occultist is, of course, I mentioned, you gotta find ways to generate your power charges, and you gotta find ways to scale 100% crit, which is the problematic part. And Assassin does that like perfectly. Okay, it will not be as fast as Assassin, but this is what the build is for. Like, it's already tanky, so even if you have like Tailwind or stuff like that, it is still okay, right? It is still okay. It is still going fast, but it does not have like elusive kind of fast where Assassin has that. And yeah, Occultist just fits in very nicely the Ascendancy. Okay, if I were to look at here, this is Occultist, right? Basically, you can have another curse. This is very big, because this means you can put Assassin's Mark on it. And Assassin's Mark basically bump up your your crit rate, increased critical strike chance, and your crit multiplier as well, which is most of the time what we have on the problem, like for this build, right? So Assassin's Mark really plays a big part in Occultist. I wouldn't need to get, okay, so the thing is here, when you're playing Occultist, right, if you're using Assassin's Mark, I'm pretty sure your crit doesn't need to be 100%. Okay, because you can never detect a rare or unique enemy. Okay, whereby when, let me just show you Assassin Mark for simple. Yeah, here we go. So hits against cursed enemy have 1.5% to critical strike chance. That is literally our Assassin Ascendancy, right? So because we are only having problems mostly with rare or unique monsters, Assassin's Mark will always cast on rare or unique monsters only. We don't really have to bother with white or blue monsters. They will just probably die almost instantly, right? So that's why this is actually so good for Occultist. It kind of like solves a lot of problem for our crit. And then you have this reduced life regeneration rate. I can't tell you how annoying some monsters is, especially when you don't have enough damage and their life just keeps going like that, like some crazy meter. Just goes down and then go up, goes down and then go up. When there's Maven weakness, the Maven will heal the boss as well, and then it just keeps going down and up. But oh my god, I just wish I have this void beacon sometimes. Like, it's so annoying. Okay, and then there's Frigid Wake. Nice. Cannot be chilled, cannot be frozen. Your boots can change to something else. And then nearby enemies deal 10% reduced damage with hits, which means you are also quite tanky. Alright. Of course, Forbidden Power +1 to power charges. You have more AoE, you have more damage. Okay. So in Occultist, I am very, very sure the AoE is much larger than the Assassin. Definitely, for sure. That's why it is actually quite good. And on top of that, if you even want to continue to min-max, Forbidden Flesh will definitely be Heart of Destruction. No questions asked. This thing is expensive, okay? I think both of them combined together is like 100 div. Yeah. But that's why this thing is so strong, because you gain convergence when you hit an enemy. Convergence basically gives you 30% more elemental damage. So basically, you only need damage when you are hitting either rare or unique monsters, right? Okay, mostly unique monsters because they are boss, and this fits in very perfectly. When you are mapping, 60% increase effect. That is huge. That is really huge. Okay, you will most likely not meet unique monsters in maps unless you're doing the map atlas boss or the strategy, or you are fighting exiles. Okay, other than that, this thing is just really so good, damn good. So yeah, I would really pick Occultist. I'm actually trying to find a time to actually play Occultist this league. Okay, my friend, I have a friend that is actually going to quit the league soon, I guess, and then he's not playing it anymore, and now currently he's running the Occultist version of this, and it will be nice if he passes me so I can finally have a min-max version of the build. Okay, but yeah, the whole point is the build is already tanky enough. Okay, it is the survivability is very top notch already, I would say, but it lacks damage, and Occultist just does the job perfectly well. In prolonged fights, right, you cannot afford to stand there for so long. That's why you need more damage in the build instead of having Assassin, which it scales very nicely at the start. It gives you a lot of crit, like here, 1.5% critical strike chance while at maximum power charge, and this is really just very good. Like I have to be honest with you, daily infusion is kind of like the best thing in Assassin. Okay, you don't have to bother about crit. But yeah, eventually it will start to fade off when you try to invest more currency in it. So, yep, Occultist is kind of like the way to go. I will try to find a time to improve the build, share the POB, but for those of you that are preparing to quit the league, I would suggest maybe try next league. Okay, maybe try next league. Let me play around with this first, and I will have the improved version either maybe in the next few weeks or just next league, right? Yep, that's all I have to say about COC. I hope you guys have a deeper understanding of the build. I will see you in the next video. Bye.